after what happened
I
last
usually
week.
start it when you say my name.
Oh yeah, sure. Just so it starts right with your name. And welcome, and welcome to another episode of the Dynasty Trades HQ podcast. My name is Michael Sipes. You can find me on Twitter at FFBlitz, and I'm here with my partners Jeremy Broen.
You can find me on Twitter at Dynasty Madman.
And Shane Manila.
At Shane is the worst. And we also have multiple Shanes and multiple Michaels on the show tonight. So it's kind of like we're our own Doctor Strange 2 multiverse of madness. It's like Dynasty Trades HQ multiverse of madness.
Oh, let's not go down that path because we can sit here and talk about that and look, we have the guys from Rookie Fever here. We need to talk about rookies. That's what people want to hear about. They don't want to hear about Doctor Strange. And fortunately, since I'm doing this,
I was into it.
Hey, listen, me personally, I'd rather talk about that, but that's not what people are here to listen for. So they want to talk about rookies. And we've got you two gentlemen here. And as Shane said, it's a Shane and a Michael. And why don't you guys introduce yourself, tell us about you, and tell us about your show.
Go ahead, Feverish.
All right. I am Mike Finero, otherwise coined the Feverish Finero by Swags over there that will introduce himself shortly. You can find me on Twitter at ArdvarkTV. We started this podcast not too shortly after you guys. So we've been doing it for a while. At Rookie Fever, the Rookie Fever podcast. As you can imagine, it's you guys talk about rookies for, I don't know, maybe a couple months of your whole year, and we talk about them 365. Swags and I haven't missed a show. We've been pretty accountable to each other, and I think that's a part of any podcast success is sticking to it, and I know you guys have done the same. I know you've all had challenges. Even at the very beginning, I remember that story when you guys were starting. But we all have known each other for a long time, and super happy to be on with you guys again, so thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. Swags?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I kind of thought he would just do this for me as well, but I'm Swags. I'm Swagzilla0G on Twitter, and happy to be here, and everything else Finero just said.
And we talk about rookies all year. We trade rookies all year, guys. Come on,
dude.
Shane's
I
not just
love
stopping
rookies though.
after rookie season.
The truth of it is it is a fever, but you have to sometimes understand like how to maintain those sweats and make them go away. And sometimes you need to temper some expectations as well at times, and watch for the caution flags. And we try to do that as well when we're getting excited about the rookies on Rookie Fever. That's an important part of it.
Oh, I love Rookies on Rookies. Hard. That was a good DVD.
No. Oh, sorry. I remember when they made that, but it's funny, Mike. You mentioned about knowing each other for a long time. You're right. We were all part of that the website back then. So, and there was a lot of podcasts and a lot of things going on back then. And our two shows have lasted, and it's awesome. Yep. It's awesome you guys are around, and we appreciate you guys being here. And, Swags, I don't know if you heard last week, we had Katie Flower and John Hogue on. Yep. And when I asked John to introduce himself, he introduced himself as you. He said your Twitter name and your show. That's who he said he was, but it was kind of fun.
Awesome. Now I have to go listen.
It was pretty funny. But so we were laughing at the beginning of the show. If you guys heard it when we were doing our introduction, we were joking around about our show sheet, and we always talk about the behind the scenes stuff with this show. But for tonight, especially with having you two gentlemen on, the show sheet just pretty much says rookies. What'd you write, Shane? Something about rookies, and it's just all about rookies tonight, right?
Well, I just said I had a follow-up to our question about rookies. I said, but what about the rookies as a follow-up?
So how do we want to start this? Which one of you two guys would like to start? And why don't we do this? Look, a lot of people do these mock drafts. A lot of people do their top 10, their first-round picks, blah, blah, blah. Why don't we start with you, Michael? Yeah, who's your favorite rookie in this whole draft? Like, who's the best one out there everybody should be going after?
Oh, you mean like right at the top of the class, or like the guy that I'm? Okay, thank you. Thanks, Shane.
Look, I'll give you some direction. Michael's he's new to this hosting thing. So
I really am. I'm
going to help you out here. Who's somebody that you really think everyone should go after that maybe not everyone is going after. So
There
not
you go.
Brees Hall.
And if you listened to last week, those were the questions we asked after we got deep into it. I wasn't going to do that right at the beginning, but
I
that's
wasn't
fine.
listening.
See, he had a
You weren't
method to his
listening.
madness.
Exactly. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Answer Shane's question then instead of mine.
Yeah, so if there's an overlap audience, they might have heard this several times before, but my guy's Dameon Pierce. So Dameon Pierce got a great landing spot, so he's not as hidden as I had maybe hoped. But I remember wishing when we did Wish-ish or Feverish swags for him or Brian Robinson. They were my two running backs that I really wanted to either have third round draft capital, hopefully, and one of them got that, or a great landing spot, hopefully a combination of both. Dameon Pierce went in the fourth, but it was super early fourth. And went to a very good landing spot with a pretty shallow competition level. So I do like Dameon Pierce, but Dameon Pierce now, it's not so much of a secret, I would say. He's going pretty consistently right at the top of the second, which makes him pretty pricey. But in this class, I mean, what's pricey, right? Like after a certain number, I would say 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that range. Like it's pick your poison. Like who are you interested in? What I don't like to draft for need, but maybe need comes up if you have zero running backs. You're looking. I mean, my big thing, and before we even got into this area of the rookie season, was I just knew that there were going to be a decent amount of depth at running back. And these are complementary running backs. We've been saying that from the beginning, but they also are running backs of good size, right? Like, so they're the typical prototype running backs that you can get around 215, 5'10". Like these are backs that, with the right role could have a starting job even as close as this season. That's the fun thing about running backs in a rookie class, is that you might get immediate return on investment, even if you just want to flip them, as opposed to a wide receiver where you have to wait longer. So these Dameon Pierce, Brian Robinson, I've added to that list. I mean, I've liked Rachaad White, Zamir White. I really actually kind of like where he went. So that list is like kind of where I actually get pretty excited in rookie drafts to start gobbling them up.
It was kind of fun. I was in Vegas with you at the draft. Unfortunately, I was really sick, and so we actually ended up watching it in a restaurant.
Rookie fever.
Yeah, maybe.
Come on,
there you go.
I
But
do that to people.
We actually ended up watching it in the bar that first night, and it was interesting to watch a draft with you, to see your reactions to some of the players and some of the landing spots, and we had a lot of fun with that.
Absolutely.
And we were with Jason too, and Jason had a lot to say about all those players as well. But Swags, what about you? Is there a player that you really like that maybe is not on the top of everybody's list?
I'll tell you what. This player is at the top of everybody's list, but I think you could argue consensus. But I am going to be completely overdrafted on Jameson Williams. And I'm really excited, and I've got some concerns too, I mean, I'm a Lions fan, so you got the homer aspect coming into that. I liked him coming in too, don't get me wrong, but anytime I see him on the board, like if he's fallen 104, 105, I mean, I'm offering you in trade until he's gone, and I've got a lot of him. If I were to have some honest concerns, and if he wasn't in Detroit, and I was to be a little bit more honest with you, I would have liked to seen him smile more. I really take a psychological approach to a lot of this, and emotions of players, coaches, lots of talk, not coach talk, so to speak, but I have some concerns. I don't think he was happy to land there. And I haven't heard anything Hutchinson already signed his contract, and we're just not hearing. And I know he's injured. He's not ready, to be clear, but I have some concerns on how excited he is to be playing for us in Detroit. Nonetheless, if he ends up somewhere else in the near to distant future, I'm not concerned. I like the kid. But I'm going to come out of a lot of drafts with him. And another one a little bit deeper, I've been trying to get into mid third, early fourth is Hassan Haskins. At a really, I think it's just like he's always there, and to me, that's
He
like
is
kind of
always
in,
there.
in rookie drafts. That's kind of a free area.
And availability is the best ability. So you're right, Swag.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost much. Again, he's from Michigan. I'm in Michigan, so I have that big guy behind Derrick Henry. I really like him. I think that he's going to make the team. He's good on special teams, pass blocking, and a bruiser if Derrick Henry goes down. So those are two players that I've noticed that if I'm at work or too busy for too long and a draft goes by, I'm going to look really quick and, hey, is Hassan Haskins still on the board? And then maybe try to get into the draft.
In the-
I'm looking for the next Eddie Lacy. Damian Pierce, Hassan Haskins. I want the next Eddie Lacy.
At a 3.5 round price, though, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the reaction of the player being drafted is one of the things that you look for. I mean, that's a great thing.
And
I
then
mean,
the aftermath, there's been nothing that makes me feel good about him feeling good.
yeah. I mean, was it Kenny Pickett, right? The quarterback when he went to the Steelers. I mean, the reaction of him and his family and all that kind of stuff. That was definitely
Yeah, he was thrilled to
because-
go in the first round, right? He's like,
Yeah.
no other quarterbacks are good. I can't even believe I'm
Yeah,
going in the first
because
round. But
he
thank
knew
you.
Throwing in
that-
the same stadium he was playing college in. He's pretty
Yeah.
damn excited.
He was excited because that hot blonde that was next to him wasn't going to leave him now. Because he's like, sweet, I'm a first round draft.
He's not
pick."
going to trade her.
Thank you,
He doesn't need
God.
to trade her in like Russ Wilson had to do to upgrade.
So there's one thing that Swag said about trading and stuff like that. And Shane, we did something a couple weeks ago where you were doing your Twitter bits. And tonight, the Twitter bit that you did put on our show sheet had something to do with Swag's telling people to come trade him picks, right?
Yeah, what's up, Swag? So, from what I understand on Twitter, you're a big Tyler Lockett fan. You said it's that time, my friends. Time to move those 2023 first. Come and get them. No, I don't want Tyler Lockett. Okay, so now that I know you won't take Tyler Lockett, what are you looking at to get from me? What's the cheapest I can get a 2023 first off of you? And don't and understand this is just for content. This isn't because
Sure.
we're in several leagues together.
It's,
For a second, I thought you were about to answer the question for him, like you've been doing lately for the guests.
you know, and honestly, it's more of a dare. Like everybody's out there saying they want these picks. They're the most valuable thing. I even put up a couple offers in, you know, hey, I've got a 2023 first. Come and show me what it's worth to you. I want to know. I really, truly want to know because everybody's talking about these damn things like they're going to win me the world. And I want to see half of it. I want to see, give me half a freaking world for my first round pick and show me what it's worth to you. So it's kind of a dare. The Tyler Lockett's, it's just another joke because I feel like he's in every trade offer. It's not league dependent. No matter what league I'm in, somebody wants to trade me Tyler Lockett. I don't know if any of you even have, honestly, but it seems like just he's always in every damn trade.
I'll give you Tyler Lockett.
And
Well, here's the problem. When I saw your tweet, I was driving to work, and I'm trying not to. Oh wait, well, I already just said I saw your tweet while I was driving.
Yeah,
I'm trying not
you
to.
already said it.
I'm trying not to
it
play
was
on my
that it
phone
was
as much.
alerted through your car.
Right? Yeah. My Bluetooth was like,
Yeah.
Alexa, tell
You
me
were
what Shane Swag said, and I was like,
know.
oh
I
yeah,
knew
yeah.
what you meant.
And I tried to get Alexa to look up all my Tyler Lockett shares in my leagues because I was going to send you to them for firsts, but then I forgot.
And
And I don't
even
think
if I
she
have
would
a
understand how
first.
to do that.
That's even if I have a first, you know. So I'm not giving them away. I bet you if you're in a league with me and you're hearing this, there's a good chance we could make something work. I bet we could come to a common ground. But it was more of just I'm just kind of curious, you know, why the hell are we losing our leagues for a frickin' one pick in a draft?
Yeah.
That's all I want to know. Why the hell are we losing our leagues for one pick in a damn draft?
So did you have you had a chance to look at that 23 class yet? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, it gets
For
me
one
kind of
pick, dude.
it gets me very very horny.
Yeah, but I mean,
I will say
in the
this though.
meantime, you know, I'm gonna try to win this year, dude. And
So
by the time you get that one player for your team sucking so bad, assuming you only have your own, you know what I mean? You're only gonna be so much better. You're still behind me next year, honestly. if I do a good job.
But
You're
it's
still
true
behind
though.
me next year.
Here's a little. I'm sorry, I'll cut you off, Mike. It's
No,
fine.
it's
But
fine
so
because I
here's
was going to
I was
ask you
quiet for like
anyways.
5 straight minutes, and it fucking hurt my soul.
I could tell, and
I was
that's
like
why I was
ready
going
to
to throw it to you.
explode. It's going to be hard to trade back next year because no one's going to want to trade multiples of those. You know what I mean? So if I have the 1.7 and the 1.11, and you have the 1.04, there's not a chance in hell I'm gonna be like, no, because like 13 of these dudes are just absolute fucking studs. So does it matter if I get the 107 stud and the 111 stud as opposed to the 104 stud? I already didn't get Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson. Bijan, I don't know, I got a Bijan. Bijan Robinson, baby Bijan Robinson. So yeah, it's going to be difficult to move those picks for multiple picks next year. So that's a good point, though. You're only trading for one pick in most cases.
There's too much going on with that, especially the baby Bijan thing.
Baby Bijan Robinson.
I'm not saying that there's not going to be some players I like. I'm not, it's going to be really hard to trade into next year's class. To your point, if you want to have some fun drafting, I love a rookie draft as much as anybody. They are my favorite. they are fun, honestly, and I'm not trying to be funny. I love them. But at the same time, dude, I like trading. I like trying to make my teams better. If I see the opportunity to do that now in a way that I don't think is going to make me that much worse than your team next year when you get one more player, and I've already got players, I've already got them. I've been doing that. I've been attempting to win.
I mean, now that the 23 class is like next year's class, like I'm kind of less over like how overvalued the 23 class was, because like I felt like they were more valuable than, like, I'm talking a year out, right? So the beginning of last year, you couldn't get a 23, but you could get a 22 pretty easy. Even though you had to wait 2 years to make that 23 happen, it was just as valuable as the 22. And that was just really freaking odd to me because of the wait time. Like that's math. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's not subjective. You have to wait twice as long to use that pick. Like, it was really strange to me that they had equal value at that point. Now, at this point, it's just like, okay, now we're just excited about the next year's class. We're probably more excited because most people are down on this one quite a bit. And the biggest reason people are down on this one is because the running backs and quarterbacks just weren't there this year. Not the elite ones. So, especially at quarterback. But, I hear Swags has been saying this for a while, because I feel like what a lot of people don't know about him, or maybe just don't believe, is he acts on everything he says. So like when he's asking you to consider winning now when everyone else is zagging, like he's doing it in all of his leagues. The ones that I'm in, I see him actively trying to win this year, while other teams are just trying to accumulate 23 picks and skip this year.
How many times do you send? Sorry to interrupt you. How many times do you guys send out a trade and the response is like, awesome offer, but it doesn't work because my team's not ready? It's like, what do you mean awesome? So take the offer and make your team better.
Exactly.
It drives me freaking nuts.
It's funny
7 teams are trying to lose in all of my leagues.
Yeah, but I get your point, but it is going to depend on, all right, well, how far away? How many players am I away, right? Like, I always like to look at my rosters. If I add one player, is it going to matter? Okay, no.
Just
but if I
start
add
responding.
2 players,
I would do it, but you're in my league and your team is a fucking shit house. I don't know how to beat you. And then I'll understand.
I love the positive attitude.
Yeah, but the thing is, Shane, the thing is, though, if you say that your team is one away, is more than one away, so then do that trade and then do another trade and then do another trade. Don't just not do anything because you don't think that your team's...
you should never not do anything, because you don't do anything, then you're just dead in the water.
But what I'm saying is, look, when I look at the picks, to me, I don't ever look at it as like... Mike, you were saying about 2 years down the road. Whenever I'm looking at these picks, I always look at the picks as those are the assets right there. I don't care. Shane used to make jokes about me not making it to 3 years down the road, but whatever. But I don't care about...
Proved me wrong.
I know, really, exactly. We've been doing this for a decade. But I don't care about that first in 2023 as what am I going to pick in 2023? I look at that first in 2023 as what can I get right now for that and use that to get me to win this year. And Jeremy, you and I, all three of us, Shane, Jeremy, and I we're just about to finish HQ3. We have 5 HQ listener leagues, and we're doing all our rookie drafts. We spread them out week by week. So HQ3 ends tonight, and part of all of that, Jeremy and I lost count how many trades we've done in this draft, right? And every single trade that I did and you did was trading into this draft by giving away future picks.
Selectively. Yeah, and Shane and I are in an auction now, and the reason that I'm basically leading the auction with like almost $2,000 is because everybody wanted to get out of this draft. I had a terrible team, terrible roster, and I wanted to turn it around a little quicker. So I traded players that, expiring contracts and just players that could help teams win. Traded a bunch of players away and other things to get rookie and Devy money. And then I traded Devy money to get even more rookie money so that I could go in and get the best players in a Devy depleted draft that were still out there. So we're talking about, running back Kenneth Walker. I mean, they're not all there, but getting him, one of the best running backs in the class, getting, wide receivers like Jamison Williams, Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson, just everybody that, there's only 7 guys bidding in the draft. One has $27. One has like 100 and something. They don't really count. A couple of guys have a couple $100 and one guy has $390. Then it's Shane and me at the top of it. So we basically just have to decide, instead of outbidding each other for every player, we just kind of have to okay, he bid on this guy, I bid on that guy. We're not going to just compete with each other and drive these bids up. And we're coming away with some of the better players in this class. And hopefully they pan out and we could trade, maybe make some other moves. But everybody wanted out of this class. That drove the want to do that in the first place. But also getting the Devy money for the, some of the 2023 class, right? Still have that. I have like 6 Devy spots because the spots are, they accumulate. You have to have the spots that are almost worth more than the money. You only need $1 to fill a spot and they're capped. So got all those spots. So got a lot of wiggle room still to, if I want to get more rookie money, though it's getting depleted, but just to think differently, everybody wanted out. So that means some players are going to be available, doesn't it? And hopefully you can get the better one.
And that's part of why I threw it to you about you went into the auction with Shane, but I was talking about the draft that we're doing right now. Part of the reason it was easy for you and I to do as many trades as we did was because that's the point. People want out of this rookie class and they want into the future one. One of the things I did,
I got to be honest with you.
I got rid of a bunch of 24s though. I didn't get rid of 23s. I traded all 24s.
I was going to say, you'll find it's a lot harder to trade out in certain pockets. If you're honestly, or trade in, I should say, no one's trading you the 101, the 102 generally. 103 or 104, you can usually trade into because people don't want to pay the price for who they have to pay there. They'd be fine making that pick at 106, 107, but something about making it at 103, 104 feels wrong. So you can move in there because I've been able to do that. Same thing. I did 24 picks. I lucked out. I traded a 24 first for the 110 in a rookie league, only because Garrett Wilson was still on the board.
Oh, wow. You got Garrett Wilson at
so Garrett Wilson just kept tumbling. Yeah, it was just from like 107. I was just sending offers, 108,
I've
109.
seen him go as early as like 103. 103 to 105, it seems like, is where I'm seeing him go.
Right. So there's definitely pockets where you can get into, but there are, I should say that there's pockets that people don't want to trade out of.
Yeah.
And then there's other pockets where people are like, no, this is fine.
It's like, 107, 108. It's like, you know what? They're thinking, I have 4 guys right now that I could take or leave any of them. So I may as well move this, pick something up and still maybe get one of those players. So that's what happened to us. And
I got the 111 was the highest I got, but then everything else was like in the later rounds. And when you guys talk about depth, there was enough depth in some of the positions that when you get to the late thirds and the fourth rounds, there's still players sitting there that, maybe they'll hit. So it was easier to make some of those kind of trades in the later rounds, I don't know. You two mentioned about being in league.
There's been this like crazy, amazing shift. Like, I mean, you mentioned top of the show, we've all been doing this and talking about it for a while. I feel like it used to be like 1 to 3 teams like would be out of contention. And now you have people like you used to feel kind of savvy being like, what's your contention cycle? Like, let me know your contention cycle. And now it's just like, well, there's people in your league trying to win? Like that's now it's changed from like 5 to 7 teams trying to tank, 2 that really suck,
Well,
and
here's
then another 5 to 7 trying to win.
So in the off season, because we all think we know everything, right? We all think no, I mean we do. We all think we know. Look at Swag's roster. It's good. He's going to be really good next year, right? Look at my roster.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
going to
got
be
some
ridiculous.
I'm going to be
teams I
terrible.
hate, to be fair.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. You get into the season, all of a sudden your team starts winning, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I have to make the push now. Like I have to try this because I'm 4-1. Like I don't care if I didn't think this was a contender. It is a contender. And then you make that push. I mean, that I know I do that a lot of times in leagues because that happens all the time. Where leagues I go into the season and I'm super confident and I'm like, how's this team? I went 6. Like, what is going on here? And then the other team I'm looking at and it's like I didn't think it had any shot and it's 5-1. So I'm like, all right, well now I got to trade those this year. It'll be all right. Am I willing to trade those 2023 picks?
If you start
It's just
I do.
good. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say I agree with him, though, with Swags, though, because I think we see it a lot more that people start giving up. I mean, you get into week 6, 7, they're like, I'm done, and it seems like more people are into getting the future stuff than getting stuff for right now. I definitely see it in the leagues that we're in, where it seems like a bigger percentage of the people start
people are trying
earlier.
to win 101.
They're bailing earlier.
I'm incapable. Go ahead, Sween.
I'll just last point I'll make tonight. The one thing because rookie
in the next 5 minutes,
rookie picks always appreciate in value, so that's part of it. Like players are, they're basically vehicles. You drive them off the lot, they get dinged, and it's like, oh well, I don't know, Jefferson. He's only got Cousins for another year. I don't know. Is he really worth? You know what I mean?
That's also an excellent point, though, because you want to rebuild your team. You don't just want to go buy a car and drive it off the lot and ding it up, right? That's what you're telling me the potential of that pick is. You can go draft Breece Hall today, and he's already worth less than the 101. That's how freaking crazy it is. And that's the truth. Put it into any value chart. You go draft him today, and he's already worth less than the 101. The drive-off price. And just having the control of those picks has that value baked into it.
And it's not only the 101. It happens even in some of the later rounds too. When people were trying to grab the 404, say, and then somebody drafts a player, then they're like, oh no, I don't want that player. So then they don't care about the 404 which he took. So then they're shifting to the next pick to move it around because they're looking at a certain pick. Mike, you were about to say something before when Shane interrupted you.
I love this topic, though, to be honest with you. I didn't expect any of this, but I don't know. I love this topic.
Well, that's what happens on here. That's why the show sheet we didn't share it with you guys because it doesn't matter.
Dynasty Trade's hell of a question. That's what the HQ is.
Mike, you were saying.
Yeah, so all I was saying is I'm kind of incapable of looking at my team as it not being able to win, even when I should. And that's a weakness. Like I have rose-colored glasses every time I look at any of my teams. In HQ, for example, you guys invited me to the first auction league I was ever a part of. I remember, Sipes, you were really surprised I had never done an auction league. I've been doing fantasy for 25 years, never did an auction league. I think I royally screwed that up. And I felt that way. Like I felt like when I was done, I was just that person that had to be in on every single bid. I didn't want anybody to get somebody cheap, so I was that guy that was redlining everybody. And what wound up happening is I didn't like my team. Most of my teams are very balanced. This team needed wide receivers madly. So the first year, I was a little surprised, like Shane was saying. You go, oh shit, maybe this isn't as bad as I thought it was, but it had no depth. So the very next offseason, this past June, I just went out and I used my 22s and my 23s and I bought a championship. That's a 14-team league. I bought Cooper Kupp for a first and a third in June last year's all season, and I bought Elijah Moore. And Swags knows how big I was on Elijah Moore. So I got those 2 players, and I wound up winning that league because I wound up just cashing in all my chips. The first pick I have when you start HQ4 is 414. That's my first pick this season. Like when you start that draft, you don't need to inform me.
No, but let me tell you something though. That's not true though, because that's what I'm talking about, Mike.
Buy in.
Jeremy and I buy in. It's so easy to buy in. I was in the 3rd and 4th round of this draft, and I bought in a bunch of times. So you won the league already. So don't just sit back and think I don't do anything till round 4. Buy in because you can get back in. It's not a problem. You really can.
Any freaking draft I'm in with Swags, he doesn't have first round picks, and he winds up with Brees Hall and another first.
I never have. I always trade my stuff away, but I always trade in the draft itself. But you just mentioned something that I was going to ask you guys earlier. You know, Shane, Jeremy, and I, we have our listener leagues we're in together, and then other leagues we're in together. But you guys have both mentioned about being in leagues together. How many leagues do you two guys play together in?
Not many at all. I think it's 3, Swags?
Yeah, I think just 2 or 3.
Yeah, we got Goats versus Bros. We got the Superflex Army, which I just joined as an orphan. And what else?
I don't know, but I won that draft.
You did. I could write down what he did in that draft. It was pretty sick.
That's awesome.
I literally had to contact him and say, "Dude, you crushed it." But I think he knew it already because he was just oozing of modesty. It was disgusting.
I was just funning around, and I kept my 23 first.
That's all. Well, why was it so good? Why do you say you won that draft? What did you do that was so great in that draft?
It was just a huge progression of trades, honestly, that like the kind of stuff that you slowly don't see it and you don't bat an eye at. But before you know it, when you put like what you started with, like the 4 pieces that you actually moved to get everything done versus what you ended with, you're just kind of like, wow, it's a lot. I mean, I would have to, I mean, I gave up a lot too. Like I gave up like Justin Jefferson to start all of this out because that ended up getting me like Justin Fields, Amari Cooper, and a 107. But then I got a 101. I got 101 for, dude, it could go on forever. But I don't think everybody wants to hear about my team, but just it all just like was a progression of trades that it wasn't one move that made it happen. It was just slowly built up into like a huge, I don't know. It was pretty cool.
So it's about trading during the draft.
Yeah,
then,
that's why
essentially.
my Michael, not your Michael, my Michael made an excellent point about,
Hey,
you know,
My Michael.
that's why you gotta monitor the draft, right? Especially on
My
a class
two
like
Mikes.
this where there's not, I don't want to say there's not consensus, but there's definitely like some variation between like, all right, well, some people like Jameson Williams over Chris Olave. Some people like Sky Moore over Chris Olave. I know Tim in our chat was very upset about that the other day, but you know what I mean? Like there's enough of a debate, or I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, that if you see players that you're eyeing, like I said, Garrett Wilson falling down the draft board, all right, let me jump in. If Treylon Burks, for whatever reason in your particular class and your particular draft is falling down the board, so you definitely want to keep an eye on the draft as it's going. So that you can try to trade in. And definitely the 2024 picks is 2024 is a good class, but I'll use those. And we use the same logic we always have. I have 2 years to get those picks back. Also, you're not going to get 2023 picks back, probably. Like giving those away is like being a sperm donor. Like you can donate it, you can't get it back. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I
can't get it back.
disagree. Look, I know you can't get the sperm donor back, but I disagree with you.
You're not getting a 2023 pick.
You talk in absolutes a lot of times, but there is situations where you can get it back. We have a year till we'll find out, but I guarantee you that you'll be able to get things back. You can always get things back. You figure out a way to do it. It happens. Jeremy, why were you shaking your head?
I agree.
He goes right back
I agree with you.
Oh, that's awesome. So look, we do have a lot of trades. We've been talking about trading tonight and trading during drafts. And Shane, there's a lot of trades on this show sheet that we didn't share with our friends here. Do you want to go over any specific ones? Is there one more than any other that you would like Mike and Shane to talk about?
Oh, I don't really care. Here's the most fun one, though, when I thought I was trading for a 2024.
So then that's your answer. There's really fun one.
I thought I was trading for a 2023 pick, and I traded for a 2024 pick. I traded Deebo Samuel and a couple 2023 thirds, and I got Treylon Burks and a 2024 first. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not upset with that because I like the return on that. I like Burks, and I think Debo's completely overvalued, and he's never going to do anything remotely close to what he did last year. But it would have felt better if that was a 2023 pick.
And people that are listening know that that's not the first time Shane's done a trade where he misunderstood the number of the year.
Oh, and I offered the trade. Oh, again, I offered the trade. I 100% offered the trade. And when I hit accept, I looked at it and I was like, oh, cool, I made a trade. And I was like, Treylon Burks in the 2024. Huh. All right. Well, whatever.
But hey, before we talk about any more of the trades, though, Shane, tell everybody about campustocanton.com.
Oh, campustocanton.com. Awesome website. If you haven't joined, you should definitely become a subscriber to them. I think that's what you call it when you log online and become something. Use promo codes HQ. It's actually just one promo code, HQ. Campus to Canton. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not the greatest Campus to Canton player in the world because I've been in one CDC league. And I will say I completely leaned on that site, that ADP that I was using for Devi, for college, for CDC. They had rankings, freshman only rankings, which late in my draft, that when I was just looking for Devi players to add, I said, all right, let me get those rooks. Got a bunch of other great tools, bunch of other great articles. Check them out. You get some discount if you use the HQ promo code. I have no idea what it is, but it's cheaper. You save something, so do that.
Do either one of you guys do like Devi or something like Campus to Canton?
Yeah, so I have a couple Devi leagues, but they're not like they're like one or two players that you draft each year. But I just joined my first Campus to Canton league that is going to do a startup next month, which I'm pretty excited about.
I definitely would suggest
going to that website.
Campus Canton and using promo code HQ. I'm not gonna lie to you, I fucking leaned on that thing. Like, you know, the dudes in this league that we're playing with, like one of the dudes I'm in the league with is Felix Sharp from Campus Canton, among other like Devi aficionados. So like I feel like I can hold my weight for the first few rounds. After that, like in the chat, they're talking about people I don't even know if they're real. So I'm like, I got to go check their website to see if this is a real person or not. And I'm like, sure enough, it is. And he's ranked highly.
Yeah, Swags and I got nice, close, and comfy with a few of those guys, including Felix Sharp on a lot of those rookie profiles we did this past season.
Yeah,
we had a lot of those guys on. Four of them were four different guys on. They're great.
Everybody over that site. They're all
Can
awesome.
I ask you guys a question before we get into the trades?
sure.
Who do you guys have like a guy that you ended up liking very, very much more because of a landing spot or anything like that, or just a landing spot that you guys love to see? The Dynasty Trades HQ crew.
Do we have a guy? I mean, I kind of liked everyone where I thought I would like them anyway. Sky Moore's moved up a little bit. What's funny, Jahan Dotson has stayed at the exact same spot that I liked him at before the draft, even though he's gotten much better draft capital than expected. But so Sky Moore has kind of leapt him, which is funny because the night that Sky Moore was drafted, I yelled at Twitter and said, "You're all going to overdraft Sky Moore."
Didn't you just
Sky
trade
Moore being
in
a
that
little
draft?
banged up
I did.
coming into camp? Does that worry you at all?
No.
And you just traded into the draft we're in right now to get Sky Moore, didn't you?
Yeah, he's one of my guys when I see him falling. Not my guys, but he's one of those guys when I see him falling a little bit. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go get him. James Cook is probably the guy that I bought in a lot more than I thought I would with round 2 draft capital. I don't expect him to rush for 1,000 yards, but I wouldn't be shocked if he, runs for 500 yards and 750 yards receiving.
Yeah. What about you, Jeremy?
I don't think much has changed. I mean, landing spots, there were obviously some good ones and some better ones. Chris Olave to the Saints kind of helped him. Maybe he won't ever need to break a tackle. According to our friend Scott Barrett, he broke one tackle ever. So, but can catch the ball. Alec Pierce, I think, is one wide receiver, the Colts wide receiver. Always liked him. I think that's a great spot for him to go with that coach. Maybe we're going to see the next, incarnation of Jordy Nelson. I don't know. That'd be a good ceiling for that guy. You can get him pretty cheaply, like in an auction we're in right now. Price is low. He's drafted, quite low, but he was drafted in the NFL higher than I expected. So, I mean, I think that's probably the standout at wide receiver for me. But, there are a lot of players that everybody was driven down in this draft, not just quarterbacks. A lot of talent fell down. I think that's what people maybe forget a little bit. I don't think it's going to be that bad of a class in the end. Like after we've had a chance to look back on it, a lot of wide receivers and tight ends we'll see, but not so much at running back. I think there are good landing spots. You mentioned one, Damian Pearson. Houston. I think that's a good spot for him. I don't. I mean, it's like it's a game. I try to get still get the better players and not let the landing spot dictate too much. But some of those running backs are going to get greater opportunities sooner, and I do look for that in drafts like later. Try to get those guys that are going to get the rock.
For me, I don't know specifically if it's true or not, but it feels this way to me that as opposed to some of the past years, like when CEH went to a spot, he jumped up, or somebody like Bishop Sankey went to a spot, he jumped up. It feels like this year
Bishop
it was
Sankey, wow.
I know, but he was one of those
Ouch.
ones. But because of his landing spot, he jumped all the way up, to the top. It feels like to me this year it was kind of the opposite. I don't really think too many people like landed somewhere and they shot up the board, but a lot of people seem to me to go down a little bit based on the way, like Jeremy just said, a lot of players were pushed down, whether it was because there was better defensive players or these offensive players aren't as good.
So many fucking guys in the class.
Yeah,
it's just a lot of players in this class. So
it seems like when we did the couple of drafts that we did prior to the NFL draft, some of those players dropped more so than a player jumping higher than they did before. And maybe it goes along with what Shane said before. We have this kind of tier where you've got Hall and Walker and maybe Drake London, a couple guys in that 1 through 4 spot. But then after that, there's this giant gap where anybody could be 105, 106, 107, 108. It's like all over the place. So it didn't, like I said, I don't know specifically, but it didn't feel like to me too many people jumped up. It felt like people went down, especially the quarterbacks. Definitely.
Yeah, I was going to say, like every quarterback. It's at one point we were predicting, not just me, but I'll take the bullet. I was thinking there'd be 3 or 4 quarterbacks that would end up going in the first round. I really did. You know what I mean? I thought the NFL was just going to be like, look, I don't care if these guys are bad. This is what we do. We draft first-round quarterbacks, and dynasty fantasy football drafters were going to go, I don't care if these quarterbacks are bad. This is what we do. We're going to draft these first-round quarterbacks in the first round.
That's why everybody's mad at the draft. Then they're rookie drafts. I mean, that's why everybody's like, oh, this sucks. This is no fun, because they thought they were going to rebuild through this class that we've been talking about being kind of, it's a wide receiver class, couple running backs,
It's funny, like I'm not a, look for the silver lining, positive glass half full guy. If anything, like I get pretty like negative soon unless I put the sunglasses on, right? Sipes, like I'm a pretty miserable, pretty miserable son of a bitch.
You beat me. I was gonna say that,
but this, I think what's fun about these rookie drafts is the fact that, unlike most rookie classes where like things are really slated in, like this is where these guys go. Like it becomes a very strong consensus. It's so open. I feel like I can get anybody I want. You know what I mean? Like I feel like, to your point, Sipes, landing spots didn't move the needle a ton. So like whatever I felt before didn't get tainted, because I've had to like hold myself back with landing spots in the past. Like, oh my God, that landing spot just seems so good. Why is that great? Because early return, like if he does well now, I can get more back for him or get more excited about this player. It's so easy to fall into that. But I just feel like the way I felt before is pretty much the way I feel now, which makes me feel more secure about the players in general, because I'm not getting junked up by landing spots as much. And then on top of that, I feel like, to what you guys were saying, like it is kind of easier to move in because people are so kind of like not fixated on someone.
Right?
Yeah.
So like
it's not
happy
even
to
cool
trade
to trade in. It's not even cool at all.
Right. So like you can do it so easily. Right.
On to trade in. If
like I remember there was
social stature at all.
I mean, if you pick and choose, right? If you trade into a particular spot, like say 2 spots to get a certain player,
exactly what
you think. Yeah, shouldn't
exactly
have
what
fallen,
Shane did with Wilson. I would have done the same exact thing. That would have been ridiculous ridiculous. I would have been done every single pick.
Did that for Olave, did that for Trey McBride. I think
Yep.
almost every pick that I got was a
Yeah.
trade in, except for
But
or
you
somebody
can't-
else's pick that I had traded for that was low. It was
That's
fun.
usually so
It was
much
really
more and
fun.
more difficult. I feel like it's
Right,
just
but
like
this year
way
it's not.
easier. Yeah, that's fun.
But and I think it's
What
part
do you
of
pay to go in to get Chris Olave?
Not much, and actually, it was an offer I received.
Yeah.
I sent what was a better offer. I felt like I swear to you, like if anybody asks you what is Laviska Shenault worth, not a fucking thing.
Yeah.
0. He's worth nothing. Like I was just trying to get rid of him because I have so many wide receivers. I'm like, maybe I could get rid of this guy, put him in with like a future third or a future second. I mean, I started high. The guy ended up taking a future like a third, and I forget what the other thing was, Mike, but he offered it to me and I was smash accept. I was like, is this guy drunk? But I was surprised. I thought the offer he sent to me that I accepted was worse than any of the attempts I tried to get the pick before that.
And it is funny. I don't remember exactly what it was, but you did say to me, like, because I had contacted you about a different trade. I was like, oh, you made a trade. You're like, what? Wait, I don't know what I even sent out. Like, he didn't remember what he sent out. But, and
Sent
I,
so many.
but Mike, it is a combination of both, I think. The more we've discussed this tonight, it's a combination of people not particularly liking this draft so much in some cases. And it's a combination of what Shane said, where they're all over the place. The players are all over the place. So what happens is some of these guys are dropping to the late third round. We all have leagues that are going like into the 4th, 5th round of rookie drafts. And there's actually still some players that some of us like that are still sitting around. So it's easier to jump back in with those spots. It's a lot of fun too. I don't know. I think rookie draft trading is way more fun than any other kind of trade.
It's all speculation.
Agreed.
I mean, right?
Agreed.
You're betting that the player that I'm going to draft at 106 and 110 is going to outproduce and outvalue the Tyreek Hill I just traded you. You know what I mean? It's all risk reward. But yeah, I don't care. Even a bad class, there's much worse things than rookie drafting. You know what I mean? When people bitch about the class, it's like,
100%.
all right, yeah. Look, and trust me, I knock the class as much as anyone. But now that it's draft time, it's like, all right, just move on. Like, okay, we get it. The class wasn't great. The quarterbacks were ass. We know that. Just fucking draft. Like, if you're any good at this game, like you allege to be, pick good fucking players. Because I'm more impressed with people that can hit in this class than people that can hit next year. Like a blind man could draft next year. Cut that out.
Oh my God.
736.
Normally he doesn't have to tell me when to cut something out. I know when to do it, but that's pretty funny.
As it was coming out, I'm like, oh, that's not great.
And what's great is the iTunes people won't know what you said, but I'm gonna leave the "you can cut that out" part just so they'll wonder what it was.
Yeah.
You can't take a sperm donation back, but you can take that comment back.
So just to my point, right? Next year's class is loaded. Like does it take a lot of skill for me to pick a stud wide receiver or running back out of next year's class when there's probably going to be 4 first-round running backs? You know what I mean? Like, no. Is it going to take a little bit of skill to hit on this class when everyone says it's trash? Yes. So, like, I'm excited to see how most of these wide receivers turn out that I'm in on. And, like, hopefully they'll hit, and then I can yell at people and tell them that they're stupid for crying about this class so much. Mostly because I want to yell at people and tell them that they're stupid.
We talk
Fucking
about
stupid.
we talk about behind the scenes stuff. Jeremy, this is a behind the scenes stuff. Mark it down right now. We talk about marking down things so that we can bring it back. Let's see a year from now, if this class really is as great as people say, we have a lot to pull from this show.
The 2023 class? The 2023 class is like...
He said that a lot, and I don't disagree with him completely. I just, from playing Devy for almost as long as I've played Dynasty, it's just they say a lot of things about classes. Now, they were right. They were right about the quarterbacks insofar as they're getting drafted in the NFL, and it's shaping up to be that way. But each class, I think you have to look at it differently. There's strengths and there's weaknesses. Saying that a class is like wholesale better, we've seen years where positions have been definitely better or worse. But saying that an entire draft class is better is a tough sell for me. I mean, I have players from this class, next year's class, the class after that, and I see it. There definitely better running backs at the top, and top heavy. I think next year it'll be well sorted, but there will be players that come out of this draft too. And save that because we've talked about that before, Mike. We've bought into some of these players still being pretty great in this class. As well.
Every time I hear like this is a bad class, I keep on thinking that is a general statement, right?
Yep.
Like we don't believe the wide receivers are trash. We don't, but the class is not good. And it makes the wide receivers more expensive in rookie drafts, right? We don't have the 5 quarterbacks we had last year pushing wide receivers into the
it's
early
like a
second
one quarterback
round.
draft right now.
Yeah,
Kenny Pickett goes by the end of the first round, and
Right.
then everybody else is a non-quarterback
Yeah.
skill
So
player.
everyone is more expensive for that reason, but it doesn't mean there isn't going to be production in this class. Some of these wide receivers have excellent opportunities. So we're gonna have fun with these wide receivers, and some of these running backs that I have hope for. There's going to be some promise there too. So it's one of those things where we like to say, oh, it's a horrible class, or oh, it's a bad class, or trade completely out of this class. And the reality is, you need to put that into context. It's
And
not
also
that
running
they're
backs
all
too,
bad
right?
players.
Finero. The thing is, we think Brees Hall and Kenneth Walker were the cream of this crop. There are other players that kind of sneak up there. Everybody seems to have, because of this class and what we've already talked about, they seem to have different rankings. They, you ask somebody for their top 5, nobody has the same top 5.
Right.
They have their guys that they like. Some of the guys that have fallen in the first and into the second, and guys that we're taking, I don't know if it's going to be Rashad White, if it's going to be what player, but some of those players are going to work out. And if Kenneth Walker and Brees Hall works out, this running back class could be better than some in the past where we had these guys that did get consensus drafted high. And may not be any worse in the end because there are a lot of running backs.
Yep.
We don't know which ones are going to work. They got some good landing spots. It's possible this ends up being a better class in fantasy football than people are really giving it credit for. We will see. I get it. Talent seems to be watered down a little bit in this class, but time will tell too.
Well, the one thing I do want to say is we're very happy to have you guys here. I know there was a window that we had to end in time for you. So I want to kind of wrap things up so that we can get you guys out of here for the window that you have. Look, is there any last minute thing? We kind of started the show where Shane said, talk about somebody that you like. But was there any rookie, because you guys are a rookie show, rookie centric, everything, is there any rookie that maybe in the 4th, 5th round that somebody may not be thinking about that you guys think, hey, grab these guys? And, I'll start with you, Shane Swags. Is there somebody in these late rounds that people should be looking at?
I don't know if I'm going to go that late, but maybe like in the 3rd round, get some Tyquan Thornton. I've seen him fall a lot. He's got 2nd round draft capital to the Patriots. I'm sure he's going to get an opportunity. I'm sure with Belichick, though, he's probably going to go to the vet, and you'll see Parker more than we want to, quite honestly. But I think that he's a good one in the 3rd. I've seen him slip. He's another person that if he's there, I'll take him before Hassan Haskins.
Mike, I see you looking down at a piece of paper. Do you have a list?
It's funny. Yeah,
He's
I had
taking notes on me to use it against me.
I
Mike has notes all the time. It's
I
awesome.
assume this is a very common question when asked about the class in general. I just want to get a couple names out there, just get people thinking about him and looking at him a little more closely. David Bell is radically getting drafted in different places, and I liked David Bell coming in. I don't quite understand, like, across the board, he seems like anywhere between 2.5 and all the way down to 3.5, 3.6. To Shane's point, when I saw him go that low, I traded 2/3 to go back in just to get him. David Bell, I don't quite understand why people aren't as high on him, but
He's
I'm
such a great player, right? Yeah.
Totally
All
fine
in.
with it. Like, I think he immediately slips into the Jarvis Landry role. And I know we're all worried about when his quarterback Watson will play, but he will play, and he's very young. And I like David Bell a lot in that spot. I also have been tracking Jalen Tolbert. I know that would be a great spot. Gallup has is it the ACL, guys? Is that what happened with him? He had the injury at the end of the Gallup had the injury last season, so I think Tolbert gets that sneaky first team reps. He's gets Dak Prescott. He's got the absence of Cooper. We all love CeeDee Lamb, but again, Tolbert's another one of these guys that will go even later than Bell. He's like 3.5 to early. Well, yeah, right around that 3.5 area. Those two players, I'm gonna have on a lot of teams. Like it's just. I guarantee you, I'll have a lot of David Bell and a lot of Tolbert. More Bell because Tolbert I'm still a little wishy-washy on, to be honest. But because I think I liked him a little bit before than I do now, like the more I kind of internalized it. And then I'm just lower, and I'll say it on every show I'm on, I'm lower on Christian Watson than everybody. I'm just going to stay that way. I'm fine with it. He has the best possible opportunity to prove me wrong. I know that. Like he just does.
Yeah. Bell has a great one too. Great landing spot, great opportunity to do something with it.
Yeah.
And he was a very highly touted player coming in, so the value on him is really high.
Yeah, and I just don't see it. I don't see people drafted him that way, which is really exciting. That's another one of those guys that we're talking about that you can go jump in and get like really cheap and be excited about.
It is all over the place. In 2 drafts I had this week, Watson went in the first round. Not Watson. Yeah, Watson went in the first round, and then later on in the other one, he went in late in the second round. So
Really?
yeah, and it's weird. I got Bell at 206 in this last draft that we're talking about. But listen, you guys are awesome. Promote your show. Tell everybody about your show. Tell everybody about what you do with all these like rookie specific players and everything. Get people over there and listening to you guys.
Yeah, your show doesn't happen in a vacuum. I want you to explain that.
It certainly does
Yes.
not. Yeah.
So
No,
go ahead.
I think the thing that's great
Gonna
about
get
our
me in trouble,
show,
Jeremy.
it's still the only one. It's no longer the only one that does rookie profiles because it seems like everybody on God's green earth does those now. But it is still the only one that tracks these rookies from this moment on all season long. It's so easy to forget about them.
No,
It's so
that's over
easy
now,
to
too. You just
look
ruined
them.
it.
It's so easy to look them over because we're worried about fantasy points in our lineups. Swags and I do a
Edit all that
fun,
out.
yeah.
Wait, come on. You're promoting your show. You don't want to edit it out. Promote your show.
It sounds
Let
like
them
Swags
do
wants to
it.
finish up for me.
No, I like how
no.
we say your Mike, my Mike, your Shane, my Shane. Yeah.
You're too sensitive lately.
Did I mention that I'm on the 8th day of 14 days in a row at work?
Shane's a
Tell
madman
everybody-
and not enough mics.
Tell everybody about your show. Where can they find you? What is
Yeah,
it?
Swags, where are we?
I was totally joking, but it does seem like as soon as you let somebody know you're doing something, that somebody else is going to do it. But with that said, go ahead and try it. It's an absolute challenge, and I think we kill it all year. Even like Finero said, even just the consistency of showing up together and supporting each other, and like you guys know, when you're doing this and we all have other stuff going on, work, families, trials and tribulations, like you have to shift stuff around. So good luck talking about rookies all year round the way we do. And then we've got our player profiles, like we mentioned, where we just bring a ton of people through, and that's, I start learning from a lot of those people the minute they hit the show. I'm not really a Debbie guy. I love my rookies, and I want to see a little bit of different things. And so we are very rookie centric.
Well, I love you both, but neither one of you told
At
anybody
Rookie
where you
Fever.
are.
On the
Say it again.
Twitterverse, he is at ArtMarkTV. I am at Swagzilla0G. You can find us anywhere other podcasts are, I think, and if we're not there, let us know if you think it's, unless it's just you, like if you like made a podcast site just for you to listen to, I might not do that for you.
So you're at
Nice.
Rookie Fever.
At
You're
Rookie Fever.
Go listen to them, guys. They're awesome. They've been doing it for a long time. The consistency is there, and they're both two of my favorite people out here.
Gents,
and
true gentlemen.
Appreciate you guys. We're rookie. They know. They already knew we were
They
Rookie
know.
Fever.
whether they do or not, listen. This is the kind of stuff Shane says too. Oh, they know. Part of what you're supposed to be doing is to promote. So you tell them anyways.
I
whether
was
they
going
know
to
or
tell
not.
you. I was going to tell you, Michael, before I was rudely interrupted.
I'm so rude lately.
Thanks for having us on, guys. Like we always
Absolutely.
enjoy being on HQ, and the fact that you bring us on each year is fun, and it's a treat for sure. And yeah, maybe we'll have one of you guys on Rookie Fever sometime soon.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
we
I love
should
the
all
fact that
come
we
on,
have two
honestly.
well-spoken mics and a couple of Shanes that step all over the mics.
Oh, very
Trying to
nice,
draw
man.
analogies. I'm sorry.
Oh
guys.
Very
my God.
nice.
He's already
There we go.
sensitive
High
enough, dude. I
five.
do
Here we
not
go.
need him.
No,
like,
no, that
feeling
sounds
anything.
accurate.
I do
I
not
like that.
need him
I
feeling
like
like
that.
he needs his
Don't cut that out.
sensitivity
Don't cut that out.
justified At all.
Matter of fact,
Shane's
send me that.
Mike's an
Send me
imaginary.
that.
Only
Send me
here
that
on
little
Dynasty
clip.
Trades HQ.
I'm having
It's
a hard
literally
enough
happening
time dealing
right now.
with this shit. I have a wife
Definitely,
and kids.
definitely
and
feel
stuff.
stepped on.
Oh my God. Hey, my Shane.
I feel like the fifth wheel on my own fucking show.
Hey.
My Shane. Tell everybody about our Patreon.
Join our Patreon because it's better than not being a
cool.
patron. Group me chat that's always hip and live for all the kids, and also the uncensored version of this podcast, written content, swag, not Shane swags. I won't send him to your house, but we will send swag to your house. Which reminds me, I gotta get some
What a
new.
treat.
I gotta get some stickers and koozies out to the new crew members. So if you're listening to this and I haven't gotten you any stickers or koozies, feel free to hit me up and I'll make sure I get those out to you forthright. Also, I just dropped, and I don't usually promote my own written work, but I just dropped a 5,600 word article on fantasydata.com.
That's about 5,000 words too many.
On this rookie class, ranking 1 through 50.
Oh wow.
So go read that.
Oh, I'm gonna read that.
Where is
put
that,
in
Shane? Where is it?
on fantasydata.com.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
a great. I did actually read some of it, not all of it, but I did read some of it. It's pretty good.
I did.
So
You know, I
just
got
put
word
out 50
counter.
articles in one article instead of just like boom, 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 tap every day. That's 50 days worth of work.
That's a lot of. There's a lot of words and a lot of pictures and tweets.
And he has a lot of other work to do, so don't encourage him to do that. So, hey, check us out on iTunes at Dynasty Trades HQ. Check us out on Twitter at Dynasty Trades HQ. Check us out on YouTube at Dynasty Trades
Just
HQ.
check us out.
Yeah, exactly. And
You know where to find them.
They already know.
It doesn't matter if they already know. You're supposed to say it anyways. And then we're all going to get together, hopefully in Canton, and we'll have some fun. So,
Who
say
doesn't love
goodbye,
Canton?
everybody. We love you. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you guys next week. And I
Peace
think
out.
we have a mock coming up, right?
A mock
Jeremy?
draft next week, probably
All right.
Thursday night. Stay tuned for that. Yeah,
All
everybody.
right. So say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Say goodbye, Shane and Shane.
Goodbye,
Goodbye,
Shane and
Shane.
Shane.
Goodbye, Shane and Shane.
And Jeremy, our fifth wheel. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
I need to be driving, you sons of bitches. Good God.
Oh,
right, time
my
for bed.
God. All right. Yeah. Mike, you've got 8 minutes. I know you had to be out.
Good night,
by
Mike.
10:30, so
Yeah,
Good night,
dude.
Mike.
Thanks.
You're
That's
welcome.
much respect for that.
Nothing
yeah.
happens in a vacuum.
No
I have
worries.
to, I have to
You
get
didn't
up
say
in
it once.
about. I have to
Didn't
get
say
up
it
in
once.
5.5 hours.
Okay, no worries.
Sucks
Yeah,
to
I
be
gotta
It
be out of
does.
town. My son turns 18 tomorrow morning, and we're going to
Oh,
Universal.
Get
nice.
hammered. Oh,
No-
Universal, whatever.
His
Same
first beers.
difference.
Yeah, but thank you guys for joining us. We really
yeah.
appreciate it. It's always awesome to have you on.
Thanks, it
And,
flew by.
Yeah,
I
it
know,
does.
flew by.
That's the thing. So it's a good thing that Jeremy mentioned that you told him about 10:30. So,
Thank you.
oh wait, before we leave, let's take a picture.
Let me fix my hair.
Yeah, fix your hair, Shane.
There,
because
it's much better.
all messed up. Okay, wait, hold on. Where's the
No, wait,
thing?
let me
Here it
fix
is.
this one. It's going this way. Oh, wait, hold on.
Hold on, wait a second. Hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
I missed the thing. Okay, ready? And here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. right. We got. Oh my God! You two guys know exactly how to do it. Thank you very much. We'll
I've
see you
seen
guys
these
later.
stills on Twitter. All right, have a good night, guys.
Yep,
Later,
take care,
guys.
all.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Good night. Thanks a ton.
Thank you. Bye.